at these volcanoes. With that in mind, here are this week's top volcano-related news stories. This week's top stories in Japan, the alert level was raised at Mount Ontake, the same volcano which unexpectedly produced Japan's deadliest volcanic eruption in 88 years in 2014. Meanwhile, in Nicaragua, a new explosive eruption occurred at the Tellica volcano, sending intermittent plumes of ash up to 1,100 meters above its summit. And, in what is this week's top story, Ibu evacuations. Eruptive activity has intensified at Indonesia's Ibu Volcano on the island of Halmahera, leading to the evacuation of 5,700 people. These evacuated people had lived within a newly declared expanded exclusion zone around Ibu's summit, measuring 5 kilometers in all directions except to the north, where the radius expands to 6 kilometers. For reference, Ibu is a forested stratovolcano which since 1998 has been almost continuously erupting highly viscous dacite lava that have filled large sections of its 1.5-kilometer wide summit crater. Dacite is the same type of viscous lava that Mount St. Helens erupts, although Ibu seems to have a lower amount of gas and volatiles in its magma than Mount St. Helens has. Gas frequently builds up beneath portions of these dacite lava domes, building in volume and pressure since it cannot escape until it breaks through overlying rock, ejecting lava and ash that typically rises no more than 1.5 kilometers above Ibu's summit in what are termed volcanian eruptions. However, since December 20 it appears that more fresh magma has risen into Ibu's underlying magma chamber than it can erupt, thus inflating the volcano and leading to more powerful eruptions. Frequent 2.5-kilometer eruption plumes in the last week of December became 3 to 3.5 kilometers during the first week of January, and during the last week have frequently achieved heights of 4 kilometers. This unusually high gas content even led to a rare phenomena at a 1,500-meter or 4,922-foot high sustained dacite lava fountain. Well, the fear is that a potential for far more powerful explosions exist, which could send pyroclastic flows to populated areas in the north. Already, multiple 2-kilometer-long pyroclastic flows have been generated to the north. Meanwhile, in Japan, the alert level of Mount Ontake unrest Ontake was raised from 1 to 2 on January 16. This carried with it a 1-kilometer exclusion zone around its recent craters. The reason for this change was an increase in the rate of below magnitude 2 earthquakes since mid-December, which further escalated on January 16. This signals an increased risk of a fairly unpredictable phreatic eruption. Ontake is a volcano which produces unexpected phreatic eruptions that are tough to predict, caused by groundwater heated by residual heat from underlying magma flashing to steam and exploding. This has produced 4 phreatic eruptions on the south, southwest, and western portions of the volcano during the last 50 years. The largest and deadliest of these was in 2014, resulting in 63 casualties, and this 5.42 square kilometer are being inundated in pyroclastic flows. A similar albeit more intense episode of unrest also resulted in a raised alert level during 2022, and that ended up being linked to a failed shallow magmatic intrusion. And, in Nicaragua, the Tellica volcano produced Tellica eruption, a new explosive eruption, its first in 3 years. Tellica has erupted 40 times in the last century, almost always with small explosive eruptions, marking it as the second most active volcano by this metric in all of Central America during that timespan. Its new eruption began on January 11, 2025, initially consisting of weak strombolian explosions which ejected bombs of lava. It then transitioned into intermittent but frequent volcanian ash emissions which rose between 100 and 1,100 meters above its summit, causing ash to fall on a small area to the west of the volcano. List of erupting volcanoes. Here is a quick list of all of the world's volcanoes which are currently erupting. Additionally, here are some volcanoes showing signs of unrest which are not erupting as of the recording of this video on January 19 of 2025. As a final note, I would like to thank my patron Marcus of the Great White North for supporting this channel.